Hey everyone, Ikendayo here, and welcome to This Explainer. I am so glad you're joining me today because we are stepping into a deeply personal story. It's one that really forces us to look closely at the realities of modern dating. You know, the painful sting of marginalization and the incredible journey of discovering your own self-worth when the world just seems totally fixated on the superficial. So today we're unpacking the emotional toll of superficial rejection and, more importantly, the beautiful ways that community can actually step up to heal those wounds. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Each time they ask for my full picture, I already know what will happen next. Once they see it, they stop talking to me completely. Just let the emotional weight of that reality truly sink in for a second. I mean, imagine the sheer dread of knowing an inevitable rejection is coming simply because of how you look. This unnamed young woman opened up online about this brutal cycle she's trapped in, giving us a raw, unfiltered glimpse into a dating experience where a genuine connection is just suddenly severed by a single, superficial image. So, to give you a bit of context about her situation, this young woman lives with dwarfism, which is a condition that has left her with a shorter stature than average. And she explained online that she actually feels pretty comfortable sharing pictures of her face. In fact, she points out that her face is beautiful and it frequently draws compliments from the men she talks to. But the unseen reality here, the really intense anxiety, it kicks in the exact moment the man on the other side of the screen asks for a full-length photograph. She knows that while her face is celebrated, her stature is going to be immediately judged. She's caught in this terrible paradox, right? Being desired for a fragmented version of herself while absolutely dreading the moment she has to reveal her whole truth. And this brilliantly illustrates the jarring whiplash of her whole experience. First, you have the buildup. These men will chat with her for days. They're showering her with attention, affection, all these kind words. They're really building a connection. But the very moment she gives in and sends that full-length image, the messages just dry up. The calls stop. Some of these guys simply disappear completely without a single word. It's that modern dating phenomenon of ghosting, but here it's basically weaponized against a physical condition. The contrast is just staggering. It really highlights how quickly that initial shallow charm can evaporate and get replaced by a profound lack of basic human empathy. Now, this cycle has happened way too many times to her, and we really can't ignore the severe mental toll this takes. When she was responding to comments on her post later on, she admitted that this repeated rejection weighs incredibly heavily on her mind. It leads to frequent feelings of depression. She even admitted starting to think, maybe I should just stop trying. And while, let's empathize deeply with that feeling for a minute. When you put yourself out there, hoping to be seen for your heart and your mind, only to be repeatedly discarded over something you literally cannot change, it chips away at your spirit. It's a very real crisis of self-worth that so many people facing superficial biases have to navigate every single day. But listen, this story doesn't end in darkness. Her post quickly gathered immense traction online, and something truly beautiful happened. A whole community rallied around her. Strangers from all corners of the internet just rushed to her page to offer encouragement. It was almost like this massive empathy bridge just formed out of nowhere. People didn't just read her story and keep scrolling, they stopped. They connected and they validated her humanity. They proved to her in real time that she is absolutely not alone in this pain. And this huge outpouring of support shifted the entire narrative from quiet isolation to loud, visible solidarity. And in the comments, a much broader conversation unlocked. Dozens of people began sharing their own deeply personal stories of being judged based on their appearance. Commenters were opening up about facing similar harsh treatments in the dating world, whether it was because of their body weight, skin conditions, or various other physical traits. This connects her specific narrative with a much larger truth, which is that so many of us face unfair, deeply entrenched dating biases based entirely on physical appearance. It showed everyone reading that this isn't just one woman's isolated struggle. No, it is a systemic issue in how we connect as humans.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is a profound piece of wisdom hidden right there in the comments. One user wrote, "A person's height or body size does not matter when the heart is in the right place. Love sees the heart, not the stature." Let's just pause and let that resonate for a second. In a digital world that's so obsessed with filters, angles, and highly curated physical aesthetics, this commenter just cuts right through the noise. It is such a beautiful grounding reminder. It tells us that true connection, genuine love, operates on an entirely different frequency than superficial attraction. If someone is truly looking for a partner, the physical vessel that partner comes in should be totally secondary to the character within.
The community didn't just stop at sympathy, though. They offered a really powerful psychological reframing. Another commenter took a stronger tone, pointing out a vital truth. If a man runs away because of your height, he was never ready for real love. Actually, scratch that. You haven't lost a great guy. You have dodged a bullet. This is such a vital shift. It takes the perceived flaw away from the woman's body and correctly places the spotlight right on the emotional immaturity of the men rejecting her. It reclaims her power. It essentially says, hey, my body is not the problem here. Your lack of capacity for genuine love is the problem.
So the crucial point is how we synthesize all this wonderful community support into actionable advice. If you, or maybe someone you know, is navigating a difficult dating landscape filled with superficial judgment, there are practical steps here to rebuild and maintain your self-esteem. Number 1, stay true to yourself and your worth. Do not let other people's shallow metrics dictate your value. Number 2, remember that real love sees the heart. The right person is going to value your character way over your aesthetic. And number 3, reframe the rejection as dodging a bullet. Let go of the people who just don't have the emotional depth to appreciate you. Honestly, this is how you practice radical self-love in the face of societal judgment.
Eventually, this viral post sparked a much-needed, broader conversation on social media. It forced people to look at how individuals with physical conditions are treated, not just in dating, but in society at large. The consensus among a lot of users was pretty clear. Society places entirely too much value on outward looks, and far, far too little on character, kindness, and integrity. Furthermore, there was a really specific call to action for men in the dating pool to just be more honest from the start, instead of demanding pictures and vulnerability that they simply are not emotionally equipped to accept or respect.
As we begin to wrap up this narrative arc, I really want to return to the young woman at the center of this story. Because despite the cyclical heartbreak, despite all the ghosting, and despite those dark moments where she wanted to give up, she shared this final enduring thought. She said, "But deep down, I still believe someone out there will see me for who I am." Wow, that is the resilient spark of hope right there. It's a powerful reminder to every single one of us that a physical condition, a body type, or some arbitrary societal standard never ever defines human worth. Her hope is just an incredible testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit.
And that leaves us with a really critical question to reflect on as we go about our day. How can we, as a society, begin valuing character and kindness over outward looks? How do we take the empathy we feel for this young woman right now and actually apply it to our own daily interactions? I challenge you to reflect on your own biases, to advocate for a more empathetic world, and to always, always remember your own inherent worth. Thank you so much for joining me at Kundayo for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.